Hello guys and welcome to today's session. You may notice if you come to these sessions regularly that we're in a different place on the screen, hence why we're a couple of minutes late. I was trying to sort the screen out so that we can have the comments actually show up on screen, because I've been streaming now for like 2.5 years and I never realized the comments were private to me only. So at least now when somebody posts, or if you post in the YouTube or the Twitter chat, it should come up on the screen. So today is a bit of a guinea pig testing session. Anyway, with that out of the way, we're jumping straight back in this week to strategy development sessions. Of course, we missed 2 sessions last week because Blayn and I were actually over in Madrid, where the sun was warm, the beer was flowing, and Blayn was all whiskied up. But we are back to business this week. And yeah, I will hand over to Blayn as he's got a decent session in store for us today.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for everyone to join us today. Again, we're actually going to do something a little bit more complicated today, but I think is very necessary for people to know how to do it. And you know, we build simple systems on here all the time. Again, this will be a very simple system, but we're gonna show you how to like sort of create a system that has filters in it that then can be optimized, so that you don't need to keep going back and forth, adding in, taking away, so your MetaTrader doesn't look like mine half the time, where it's absolutely cluttered. Yeah, I mean, I should probably do this more often, and I've started doing it a lot more. But I probably waste a lot of time going back and forth. But yeah, anyway, what we're going to do again, we're going to go over one of the resources.
We're out of sync today, Blayn. We've missed 2 sessions, and the live stream vibe's gone.
Yeah, I know. That's just me in general, to be honest. Like.
Blayn's also in his outdoor office. You can tell Scotland's heating up now because Blayn is out, well, as outside as you can be, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, the wind's blowing like Doctor Who's TARDIS today, like, but you know how it is. Who knows where I'll end up by the end of this stream? But yeah. But anyway, back to the session. So obviously, weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, could be, yeah, well over a month ago now. I gave like a whole sheet on places that you can take resources from, and I think one of them was the Transparent Trader, which is a person called Jared Goodwin. He shares a lot on YouTube, and they're always very simple to sort of build. So this is one that I built years and years ago. It's not a bad sort of strategy, and it's very easy to build, but it's got a funny name. I mean, it's called the kangaroo tail pattern. And basically what it is, it's basically what it says. You're looking for like a fractal swing, which is in essence the tail, and then you're looking for the breakout of the candle. So let me see if I can, Kieran, can you see that on the screen? Because obviously I've only got one screen on today. Can you see?
I can only see the kangaroo tail image.
Right, okay. Let me see if I can get trading view. I had the other screen up because I'm not logged in on my own trading view on this essentially, but yeah. Right, okay, let's get rid of this crap volume. Okay, so the kangaroo tail is basically, right, it is when you've got like a fractal. So a fractal is like a swing low, and you're using 3 candles to basically calculate it. So and then you're taking the breakout of this candle. So candle 1 low is above 2, and the candle low of 2 is below candle 3. We then take the breakout of the high of candle 1 for buys, and again for the opposites of sells. So you would take the breakout of, let's find an example where you would, yeah, here. So again, you've got the high is the fractal here. You're then taking the breakout of the low to the downside here. So, I mean, I'm not the best at explaining things, to be honest, but I hope you get the gist of what it is, and we're just going to build it on FX Stream it anyway. So, yeah, basically, very simple system. Let me just go through what it says actually first. So, again, this one is on US dollar yen, and it trades on the daily time frame. Okay, simple. So that's what we're going to be doing, the daily time frame and on dollar yen. So For dollar yen, we're gonna. Do you know what we'll do pending orders today. I normally do like loads of other things, but we'll do pending orders just for the sake of doing something different. So we're gonna do once a day. If I remember right, GMT +2. So we're gonna do at 0105 because that's roughly about 5 minutes after the market opens on my broker, which is Darwinex. I think it is. No, it is my broker, but I think it's one. But so I'll be taking a trade then. Again, every broker is different. You just need to check your sort of like symbol settings, and I'll tell you when the market opens. And you set it just a couple of minutes after that. Once per day at 1:05. We will then do the buy side first. So we'll do candle low of 1 is below the candle. Sorry, candle low of 1 is above the candle low of 2. Again, we'll switch it to the daily just because that's what we're going to follow the plan today. And that is the first condition. Move that up here. And then we'll just do simply candle low of 2 is below candle low of 3. Again, using the daily settings. And that is essentially it for the buy side. Do the same on the sell sides. So candle high, I'm having to think here. It's been a while since I've built it and said something on the stream. Candle high of 1 is below the candle high of 2. Again, looking at the daily time frame, and the candle high of 2 is above the candle high of 3. Again, looking at the dailies. And that, in short, is all we need for the entry criteria. So we will do buy and sell pending orders. So for the buy side, we're taking a custom price candle high of 1 because, again, as we said, once the pattern has formed for the buy side, we're taking the breakout of the high on the daily. And we'll not do an offset. Actually, we'll not do an offset. Again, this is something that we can always test at a later time to offset, just so that we're not getting involved straight away. We maybe want the confirmation that it's going to be more than 2, 3, 4, 5 pips above the sort of the high. And then what we're going to try first is, because we'll test something quickly. How come no position block? Well, all I'm doing is I'm going to be building it first, and then we can then put in things later after that. So just bear with me. Because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be closing it at the end of the day. So only one trade will be taken per day. So there is no need for no position. If we are going to, say, keep a position open for more than a day, then we would use no position if we didn't want any more than one position. Again, this is all up to you as the trader to what you want to sort of, or what you're happy with in terms of open positions per strategy. So we'll test this originally because I think if I'm correct, what does it say? Buy setup as marked blue arrows. Is it? Bar 3. Okay, so he says this is bar 3. I keep forgetting that he does this in reverse. Yeah, 3, 2, 1 rather than 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we're placing the buy above 3, and he's wanting the low below 3. We'll test that originally just to see what we get. but I would like to try an ATR. We can see that the overall strategy's equity curve is actually not too bad. But again, who knows? There might be no commissions in there, which is would make the strategy invalid. So candle low of 1 for the buy. So we're taking the breakout of the candle high of 1, and we're placing the stop loss below the low. We'll do the daily, and then again we can then customize this. So for this, we can use a constant just so then we can have a look to see what we're doing. Sorry, Martin, let me have a quick look. Thank you for pointing that out. High of 2 is above the high of 3. Thank you, Martin, for correcting me on that one.
What would we do without Martin Tinsley?
Oh, I know. I'd have been testing this and be like, what's going on? Thank you, Martin.
Loopy, you're not Martin. Who do you think Loopy is, Blayn? You don't think that's Rob, do you? You know who, but I'm new here. Hint, I've DM'd you, Kieran. I ain't got a clue who's DM'd me. Yeah, Martin is, Trade Like a Machine is Martin Tinsley, who we have a little update at the end of this session after Blayn's finished building. Yeah, Loopy, I'm curious as to who you are. It can't be another one of Rob's alt accounts, can it? Surely not. Surely not.
He's creating a minion army. That's what he's doing. But good to see that someone is making sure that I'm doing something right. Let's get rid of that. So yeah, again for the sell side, we're taking the candle low breakout of 1 on the daily, risking 1%, and the candle high will be the stop loss on the daily. And then we'll do take profit here at 1 to 1. And again, we want these positions to sort of expire. We don't want to have them for the next day. So within these buy and sells, I've put expiry at 0000. What I'm going to do though is we're going to put a fail safe in there just to make sure that if they don't work, then we are getting out anyway. So that is essentially the system so far. So once a day at 0105 for the buy side. Oh, why is that? It didn't even update on the buy side. That is weird. Maybe it's just playing up today, mine. Who knows? I swear it wasn't like that. So again, let me just double check. Candle low of 2 is below candle low of 3. Candle low of 1. Candle 2 is below candle 1, means low candle 2 is below the candle 3. Okay, that works. Okay, so we have now created that sort of like little fractal, which is called the kangaroo tail for the strategy, and we're taking the breakout of the high for the buy side, and we're taking out the breakout of the low to the low side. It's a very simple system to build. And again, it is within the free version. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, which means that everyone at home, if you have FX Dreamer for free or Perfectus, these things can be built very simply and tested. So what we're going to do is we're not going to add any management. We're just going to see how this sort of pattern works anyway. But what I want to do is I want to close it at the end of the day because I just want to test that out. Why not? So what we'll do is we'll close the position at 8, but 8 is really 6 on the broker. So it means that we're getting the whole intraday move, or actually maybe we let it go longer. Again, this is something that can be optimized, but we're not going to do that today. Because optimization can take a long time before we get to our final conclusion. But what we're going to do anyway is we've got these in to delete its pending orders, but I'm going to add that sort of failsafe in to make sure that it deletes the pending orders anyway. So yeah, it's as simple as that. So at 8 o'clock, sorry, 6 p.m. on the broker side, it will close positions and delete pending orders. So again, 10 blocks? 10 blocks. So we've managed to use like the if the bot checks the candle once per day, which will check K00 the time of the spreads are well. How does your account for the slippage 1 hour session open? I mean, you can literally just put a spread filter in, and then only allow the pending order to take when spreads are open. What I tend to do is I tend to steer away from pending order systems in the live situation. I normally go with instant execution because it means that I can apply a lot more safety features around spreads, slippage, all these sort of things. And I do recommend it, but for the simplicity of testing the idea and building a narrative around it, I'm very happy to use pending orders. You will get slightly different results from instant execution to pending orders, but if we get what I say a positive expectancy from the system, from pending orders, I can safely say once we move it to instant execution, we'll get something along the same lines, but except you can add in a lot more safety features, so you've got essentially less risk on the table. So yeah, this is the simple system. What we're going to do quickly is test it. Then what I'm going to do is show you how to build sort of on-off gates to turn on and off ADX and as well as moving average, because I think this is what we're going to try, like a volatility sort of filter, but we're also going to try trend following sort of filter as well, or we can put them both together and look at that way anyway. So yeah, we'll do that for now. Let me just get up my MetaTrader. So just give me a second. I'll have to reshare this screen actually. So I should have had this prepared. Do you know what, Kieran? I forgot to delete all the other open windows that I had in MetaTrader, and it's still all loaded. It's taking ages.
So I was on a call earlier today with Blayn, and he opened up MetaTrader, and I kid you not, for about 30 seconds, there was just flashing all over the screen, and it was about 500 different different windows in this terminal, and I was like, yeah, I'll give you a minute while you delete all those. Yeah, me loopy. I'm presuming it's either Tail or Rob, but I could be completely wrong. Who knows?
Right.
Or it may be Alb. Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe Alb's playing a trick on me.
Apologies. I should have got rid of everything. Let's go 1.1 just for simplicity. Oh, I'm not actually sharing a whole screen. Give me a sec. Window. Let's go here. Right. See MetaTrader, Kieran, yeah?
Indeed.
All right. Okay. So obviously we're bringing it into MetaTrader, and we're just going to simply test it first and foremost to make sure that what is being said is valid and actually does work. Just because I don't want to take it further if it doesn't work. But I mean, I remember from whenever I did build it, it did work. So, well, I think we can safely say it'll be fine. Hopefully it doesn't take 10 hours for this to test on a live stream.
That's quicker than usual. Also, low correlation sent you a piece of advice, Blayn.
Close all empty for Windows code. Yeah, that's actually I could do with that. Thank you. Because I think you can see all of them across here. Just goes on forever and ever.
Have you ever seen when you know Michael Bisping, the UFC fighter? There's he was doing like a live interview like on stream, and one of his guys commented like Control Alt and something else, and he clicks it, and his screen just goes black, and it basically like turns his monitors off and stuff. It's hilarious, and he's like, I can't repeat what he says, but yeah, it's hilarious. I can just imagine you just going black here now.
Okay. So far, it's looking sort of reflective to what we've seen. I mean, I've not optimized anything. This is just a one-to-one with candle low, candle high. Again, all I'm trying to do right now is just validate that what we're being told actually does work. And so far, it looks like it does. So what I'm going to do is, rather than optimizing, I think we are going to have a look at just adding some maybe some filters to the original system to see, can we squeeze a bit more out of it with the filters? If not, depending on how much time we have at the end of the session, then we can switch it to ATR sort of stop loss take profit, and then run some optimizations on that if we have time. If not, we'll carry it into next week. So yeah, so far, it's got a decent sample size. It's about 12% return with 7% drawdown. So nothing to write home about. Positive expectancy, but again, is it something I would trade live at the moment? Absolutely not. This is where we do need to make some improvements to it. So what we'll do is we'll continue on with FX Dreamer. So it's going to be a lot of chopping and changing of sharing screens today, because I've not got my dual monitor set up out here, I'm afraid. Should probably get one. Okay, we can see FX Dreamer again. Awesome, yes. Okay, so what I was saying is we want to maybe add a sort of ADX filter and a moving average filter, but rather than say put them here, download it, test it, come back, then put in the moving average on its own, go back into MetaTrader, test it, then put them both together, build it, download, test it. We're just going to build it all as one. So this might look a bit confusing and maybe look like it gets a bit out of control, because when I showed Kieran like how to do these things, I think even you were like, what? But it is simple. It does make sense. It just kind of looks like a messy set of wires in your fuse box or something like that, to be honest. That's the best way I can describe it, but yeah, so what I want to do is we want to potentially use an ADX. Okay, so let's simply get the ADX. Okay, again, we can then change everything. So what we want to do is, if we want to keep everything all in one place, where MetaTrader that we can optimize absolutely everything, then this is how I would build it. So we're going to make it. This is going to probably take quite a long time. It's going to be a lot of explaining, but I hope it does sort of bring value to, might take longer to build the project, but when you're in your MetaTrader, it's a lot better to sort of do things. So we're going to make like the ADXP. So just simply ADXP, put a value like 10 or something like that, or let's do 20. And we'll just put in the description. The whole point of the description is when you're in your input terminal, it means that we can then know exactly what that constant is. So we can put ADX period value. So, and I'll show you once we go back into MetaTrader, like where this is. Again, always update, or else if you don't update, it will disappear. Right click, ADX period, there, done. Okay, we want to use, what time frame do we want to take the ADX from? Again, we'll probably just take the daily to begin with, but again, this can be like changed to different sort of time frames. And, learning, see me do this pretty simply, but again, you can learn about constants and variables, through the instructions or the forum on FXStreamer, or it's on the MQF5 sort of like learning thing. You get to understand what double, string, bool, enum timeframes are, because it's typically what's used within MetaTrader. So we just do, so it's always en on timeframes. And this is purely just to make sure that we're specifically targeting the time frame. So we can then take it as ADX TF, just for ADX time frame. And again, we type in what period it is. Let's just do D1. But again, this allows us to, in MetaTrader, sort of do the optimizations ourselves. And we'll just simply put this as ADX time frame. Again, oh, that's not frame. Let's just put my spelling at risk here. And then we just simply right click and click that. Now we need to know the value, okay? So again, value, ADXV, let's put 20, ADX value. Update, right click, there we go. Okay, so that's just made our condition for the ADX above, but we want to test both above and below. So we need to create essentially an on-off switch for this. So what we want to do is, again, we'll probably just, do we need to do a bool here? Don't think we do, but we'll just do it this way anyway, because it works either way. You can put it as a bool or you can put it as a double. We'll put on, off ADX. Let's put 0, and then we'll do 0 equals, oh, that's a plus, 0 equals off, 1 equals on. Okay, and then again, we need to do above, below ADX. So just AB ADX. Let's put that to 0. 0 equals above, 1 equals below. Okay, I'll show you how to create this sort of switch. So just update that. So we've got our condition here. Now we want to do copy paste, and then we want to do the one below. Okay. So first of all, we need to create the gate, and the gate is simple. We go to value, we right click here, on off ADX equals 1. So that means, if what we said in the description here was, if on off ADX, 1 equals on, 0 equals off. So again, this is like, there's 1, there's 0. So we then go into the next condition. Again, we then need to say, okay, do we want it above or below? So let's have a look at the conditions again. Above is 0 and below is 1. So above is 0. Above was 0? I just misunderstood myself. Above is 0. So let's switch here and that. So if we say that, why is that not changed? This is doing weird things to me today. Yeah, I don't know why that's done that. Sorry, I just need to make it again. So if B equals 1, 1 equals below, that doesn't work either. This is so weird. So below equals 1. Just need to make sure that these are actually updated. Maybe it's because I didn't press update. Must be. Below. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. And then that's above. So we've got our on-off switch. We then got our above or below condition. So, you know, we've got the above here. Sorry, is that below? Sorry. 1 is below. Yeah, so 1 equals below, 0 equals above. So that's where the conditions are going into. I've never done a market commentary while building these sort of things, so I'm just, I'm confusing myself because I don't normally speak out loud. You know, when you go into that deep focus mode, you're never speaking out loud.
Every time you build a strategy now, you need to talk it to yourself.
Yeah, do you know what? I need to get in the habit if I want these.
It's probably actually a good way to do it, really, because you'll pick up on any errors you're making whilst building it.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome. What we've got is this so far. So what this does is it goes on off. Right now, if we turn the ADX off, it's going nowhere at the moment. So what we need to do is, if we don't want ADX, we need to continue to these conditions. So this is where it starts to look a bit crazy. But all it is it's a switch. 1, 0, 1, 0. You know, so it's easier for me to understand because there was a lot of like electrical engineering that went along these sort of things, like and not gates and or gates and things like that. So that's the way that I view them. But essentially all you're doing is creating a switch. Again, don't rush this because it is a little bit more complicated. If you need to watch this video back, then please do put it on slow and skip my little errors that I've done lately. But now we have created this sort of switch with the ADX. So now we need to add the moving average.
Alternatively, you could just ask Claude.
You could, yeah, that's true. We'll probably start asking Claude. You know, there'll not be a strategy development. We'll all just be watching Claude just code it out for us. We'll just sit there and be like, well, there you go, guys. I don't need to explain anything.
I'm just pulling your leg, mate.
Okay, so we'll do like a simple candle above, like a moving average. And again, we'll change the time frame, but we're just going to build the switch to begin with. So what we're going to have is we've already got it working that if the ADX, we want the ADX on, it'll still work. We want the ADX off, it won't work. Again, I'm going to be probably speaking out loud and trying to figure this out while speaking because I'll probably put myself off. We'll need to redo it, but we'll get there in the end. I promise that. So we need to create an on-off gate for the moving average as well. So again, we're going to do moving MA, on-off MA. Put that to 0. Again, 0 equals off, 1 equals on. On off. And again, if we meet that condition, then candle close. I need to bring this up a bit. Candle close 1 above the moving average of 1. You know, let's just do simple for now. So if it does, it goes in here. If it doesn't, it still goes in here because we want to make sure that we can then filter between no filters, 1 filter, or 2 filters. So this means that we can then optimize it depending on what condition we want to have focus area on. And you know, it's a good way of being able to test efficiently, I would say. Yes, it takes a little bit of time to build them, but then your efficiency in terms of testing is a bit better rather than going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and trying to compare like loads of different files together. So this is the best way to sort of build that sort of optimization as such. Again, you'll have to create that exact same gate. There's no need to worry about it. We can just simply copy and paste this, except as long as we flip the condition here. So in here, if it's not, then we still go. If it is, we go, and then we go here. Okay. So that is the system. Now, what I'm going to do in here as well is we need to make sure that we can, if we go to here, we've simply got, not that one. We've simply not got any settings for here, so it's going to be the current time frame. So we're going to make sure that we program them, that we can then put the time frames for that is. So again, enum time frames. Let's go with entry time frame because that's what it is. Okay, then we've also got a moving average time frame. Did I put an S on that one? I did. MATF again. Don't you're going to be too happy with this, Kieran, because I'm using capitals and lowercase for everything. Your OCD's going mad right now at me. But I'm not too bothered as long as we get the end result. That's all I care about. Although it might be a bit of an eyesore in the inputs. I will say that. What we want is MA CID for candle ID, period, D1 again. We'll just stick with the daily, just for sake right now. And then this is going to be candle A/B above or below moving average. So again, we can select what time frame we want that candle close to be, as well as the moving average. So let's say like we're entering on the daily, but you want to have a look at the moving average in the 4 hour or anything like that. It means that we can look at these sort of things to see if there's any sort of way that it's going to be good. So we don't need to do anything there. Don't need to do anything there. Don't need to do anything there. We've put everything in there as well as there. Okay, this is where we need to put in our entry time frame. So enter TF. Enter TF. Here as well. Or to put in the daily, but we'll just and I spelt that wrong. Brilliant. There we go. So I need to change that back to here because I can't spell. That's updated. That's not updated. Awesome. Same on the other side. Okay. And then we don't need to worry about the on-off switch, but we do need to worry about the candle condition. Again, we've got our moving average time frame, and we have got our that's not moving average. That is so that's the candle ID, and then this is the moving average time frame. What I forgot to do is put a period optimization in for the moving average. MAP. Let's do something like 100, but again, this can be optimized as well. Moving average period. Okay. We then stick it in there. And that's that. Did we do the other side? Nope, not done that yet. MCP, period, moving average. Okay. And that is simply it. So it's a little bit more complicated, looks a little bit more wild, but this allows us to fit everything in that we've just went over, 2 different sort of filters, and then be able to test. So let's just quickly move across to MetaTrader, and we can show you how these things work. And then might not have enough time. We'll put an ATR stop loss in that then we can potentially optimize. If we have enough time, if not, next week. So actually, I'll need to just keep forgetting that I'm not sharing. Okay, right. Okay, so basically everything that we built in the constants, I probably should have moved it in line to make it with periods, then numbers, but hey, it's just me. And this is very important actually, because I have not put in what the gates are. Now you can see the inputs, 0 equals on, 0 equals off, 1 equals on, 0 equals above. So we know that's above and below, but we don't know which switches these are. So that is a mistake by me. Again, sometimes I forget that these things are not actually in the description until we move it to MetaTrader, but this is good that we see this. So let me just quickly update it. So on, off, ADX, on, off, MA. I'll just re-download this so then we know what it is. Above, below, ADX. So we'll do version 3. Apologies, give me a sec. So ignore this one, look at 3. Okay. And now we've got above, below ADX, on, off ADX, and on, off moving average. Now, basically to get this bit is you just add it in the description. This is the whole purpose of the description, and very importantly, do add it in. Don't do what I just done there beforehand. That you know exactly what these inputs are. Otherwise, it'll just say on, off, and you have no idea what one you're looking at. Okay. So what we can do is, if we have all these off, this should still give us the same result as this. I hope it does. Otherwise, I must have done something wrong, which I don't think I have. But here, we'll test it. Looks somewhat similar. I suppose I have a question to everyone that's watching. Has anyone actually ever tried to build on-off switches to sort of be able to add and be able to optimize things before? I know it's a little bit more advanced, but for me it's quite important that I show this to everyone here, just so then you know exactly how to go about it. Okay, yeah, this is looking pretty much identical to what we just had. Which is good. And what we're going to do is we're going to test to make sure that the moving averages are working and the ADX is working, but we'll probably watch it in different sort of view. Okay. Yeah, good. Exact same sort of result. So that's good. We do have the exact same result. And then what we can do now is we can say, okay, ADX, So for it to be on, we press 1. Why is this not working? Okay, there we go. So 1, now we've got the ADX on. Right now, the 0 means we're doing above. So it's above whatever the value is. So we're using the 20 period, and then we're using the value of 20. So when the ADX of the period of 20 is above the value of 20, it will take trades. So what we should see here is a different number of trades. So we want to see probably, would it be an ADX above? We'll probably see like a reduction, maybe 100 trades. Nothing too crazy, but just to show that we're actually getting less trades would be good. Yeah, typically use bulls. Yeah, I mean, these can be moved into bulls, like, but I mean, I just keep it numeric anyway. So it basically, for me, it's almost the same. Did 5 filters for basic track with on off, but using AI? Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think there's any wrong way of doing it. If as long as we get to the same conclusion, we're using the same sort of stuff. It doesn't matter. I think a lot of people, you should be using AI now, especially with how good some of the softwares actually are, because it'll speed up the process, and there's more time to do data mining than there is anything else. Okay, this is interesting because we got a profitable result before, so maybe we need to flip this. When it's above the period of 20 and value of 20, it doesn't seem like it's that profitable. So we have got $23 in profit. We've actually wiped a lot of trades off. So what could be quite interesting is maybe we go below. And we might see a much better result. Again, nothing's optimized. This is purely just to kind of show how you can create on-off switches and to make sure to show you that they actually work. Optimization of this could take a long while, which we do not have time for today.
I think that's the perfect segue into talking about next week's session. So this session is just part 1 of 2 sessions. So as some of you noticed, we have Martin in the audience in today's session. Martin has kindly agreed to come on next week, and as he is an expert in optimizations, he's going to come on and do part 2 of this session where we take this strategy that Blayn has built today, and Martin runs it through Optimize Strategy, which is a software that Martin has built designed to enhance and optimize strategies without overfitting. So I think that's going to be an absolute fantastic session next week, and one that I'm really, really excited about. And a lot of you guys know Martin. I think somebody recognized him just by the YouTube tag earlier on. So I think next week's session is going to be absolutely fantastic. Sorry to interrupt, Blayn. I'll hand it back over to you now the test is done.
That's all right. So what I am seeing is some sort of discretion here, and I need to figure out what it is because it's not adding up to me, which is not good. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. All we did was flip the criteria. Maybe it's just my FSU has been a bit weird for me to do. I mean, what we've got is a lot less trades, better profit factor, but again, it's nothing to write home about. Let me just run this again. Because we create the on-off for the ADX, and then create a buffer below the ADX. Cool. Damn, that's so stupid of me. Let me just share exactly what went wrong. Okay, so what I had was, it was like this originally, right? So this was only when the ADX was above, it was only actuating the short side, and then when the ADX was below, it was only actuating the buy side. So we need to create this here. Okay, now it will. That's why it took so many trades before and didn't now. So apologies, I made a mistake, but I think it sounds quite bad, but you're going to make mistakes as long as you don't make a mistake in the live. That's all that matters. Let me now go back onto MetaTrader with the update file. What was that question say? Are you targeting a specific PF range or sharp to support the strategy's effectiveness? What are your main objectives for stable, satisfactory live strategies? Apologies for basic question here. No, it's not a basic question. It's a good question, actually. So, like, for me, for specific strategies that I would trade live, I don't really have anything below a 1.4 profit factor. I normally trade anything above that, and I see like that is just my sort of sweet spot. Sharp ratio, yes, I am sort of interested in that in terms of we want to. I don't have a specific number as such. 2, maybe just 1 point above 1.5 to 2 is normally not too bad. But what I want to see is not all the gains come from one singular year, and I think that's quite, that I visualize it rather than give it a metric, if that makes sense. Because in the test we can see, okay, we've tested 8 years, it's profitable, but all the profits come from 2022. The rest of years are losing. Could still be a profitable strategy, but does not give good distributions of returns, which in hand will create a lower Sharpe ratio. Could still give a good profit factor, but could create a low Sharpe. So I think for me, that's what I'm looking for, something that's quite stable, that's got a decent sort of profit factor. I think when over optimization happens, we then do start to see massive profit factors, massive Sharpe ratios, which hopefully next week we can see a lot more about robustness and over optimizing and overfitting with Martin software, because I think it's going to highlight a lot of good stuff next week. A lot of good stuff.
I start to get nervous. I start to get nervous if a single strategy goes above a profit factor like 192, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like if it's above 2, I'm like, oh god, what have I done? I like having a high recovery factor as well, so that I know that I don't have to worry when it starts going into a bit of drawdown. I'm less likely to be concerned seeing a losing streak if I see it's got a high recovery factor. But I think Blayn made a really great point there in terms of like when you look at data, like profit factor in isolation, you might have a system that did one major year out of a 10-year window, and the profit factor technically could still be high, even though it was a subpar strategy for 9 years out of the 10 sample size. So I think you have to kind of like have a basket of metrics that it needs to like tick all of the boxes in their own way. And then I always like to have like a visual, like I like the curve to align with the data as well. As in, like I like to look at an equity curve and be like, would I be happy trading that? Because a lot of the times, and this is like something personal, is a lot of the times there's certain types of equity curves that I'm like, I wouldn't feel comfortable trading that. If it's trading a 10-to-1 risk to reward system, for example, and the curve is super unstable, let's say, it may hit all of the metrics that I look for, but I know that I wouldn't like to watch it in a 10-to-1 risk to reward trade often. So rambling. That's
just a talker.
I'm just a talker.
But yeah, I think that's quite important. I think like everyone should have their own set of rules based on how they are as traders. I could sit here and say X, Y, and Z. You might not agree with that. You might not feel comfortable with that. Even me and Kieran are totally different traders. We do trade some similar things in similar ways, but we we're comfortable with different sort of like the way that we trade as well. So trading is quite personal at the end of the day, and that's why you do have to. We can sit here and give you all this information, but again, you should always tailor it to yourself. I think that's the main point. And that's why there's never two traders the same. We could all take this system here today, and I bet there'll be very few people that trade it the exact same way. People will tailor it into what they want from it. I think I've used this reference before, but a chef will give you the recipe. They know that you're not going to cook it the same. Essentially, that's the truth.
You used that one on me last week in Madrid.
That's what it was. I knew I used it before. And I was like, "Fuck!"
We were sat in the steak restaurant and we was talking about food, and then you said that.
There we go. That's why I said that. I got hungry and was thinking about it. So we've now just tested both above and below ADX, and now we can see that it definitely works. So far, this is actually looking not too bad using a below. Yeah, that's not too bad. Again, 1.33, just slightly below what I'd be happy with. But again, we've done no optimization here. This is just pure randomness in terms of what we're testing here. But what we can see is we've got a lot less trades when it's below and a lot more trades when it's above. And we can see the ADX here is working. So the value here is, I don't have the values here, but we can see that, and then the next test, I could turn this off and then we use pure moving average, and all it'll show is a moving average. Let's actually do that. So again, we've turned off the ADX, and all we've got is moving average now. And then once we've done this test, we'll see on the screen that it comes up with the moving average. Then we're going to put 2 and 2 together. And then I think at that point, we will, I don't want to do too much in depth into this because, I want to kind of leave that for next week. Let it be a whole topic next week with Martin. So I think I'm really looking forward to it. So again, we're getting totally different results because we're using the moving average this time. No ADX, just pure moving average of the 100. And again, look, you can see on the chart, no ADX this time, just the moving average. So then that proves that these buttons work. Now we'll just turn all of them on. And then the next test will be above or below 100 moving average and below the ADX. So what we'll see is we'll definitely see a big reduction in trades. Kieran's testing something.
I just stopped the test.
Okay. What's interesting is you can definitely see, because we've got the moving average and the EDX, it's taken a lot less trades this time, which is expected. It's actually looking not too bad. Okay. Maybe we've got something here. 1.87 profit factor. The problem is we've only got 67 trades now. But then again, we did have a sample size of 400 or 500 below.
Just add 2 entries, man. I said just add 2 entries and double the sample size.
But yeah,
you're only lying to yourself.
But yeah, basically, now we can see that these buy and sell gates the on and off gates work with the moving average, and now we can apply all of it. And I think that's very key that we do have this. It means that we can really go deeper into testing. Let me try to share the screen again. I'm just terrible at multitasking. Trying to change screens while talking. Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, it shows you that you can build loads of different things in FX Dreamer, and again, you could keep continuously building this out and basically almost build like a filter package if you wanted to. You could add 20 filters to this. Yes, it's going to look absolutely chaotic. It's going to look like you've been ringing donuts around a car park, to be honest. That's probably the best way I can probably describe it. But again, it just means that you can add all these filters, test them all in one space if you wanted to. The problem is, I think this is enough for me because I don't think I could handle any more sort of lines across my sort of FX Streamer file. But again, it means that you can test loads of different things. So yeah, what I'm going to do is what we can do is we can continue on, and what I'll do is I'll be able to do constants for all these, and then I think we will call it a day for today. Quite a short 1 hour session, but I think I don't want to get too carried away because there's been a lot of information shared here and how to build these sort of things today as well. So yeah. So let's do value. What am I doing? Double. Jesus. Risk. 1% risk per trade. And P. So P is just that. Let's do time frames. Entry. Jeez, I really can't spell today. Time frame. Period. Uh-oh. I can change all of this. Entry, time frame, period. Which will be ATR. And we're just going to say M. We're going to put 2 ATR multiplier. Do I need anything else? No, I do not. No. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go through this. High, again, we can use, what is that? We'll close that down for now. The entry time frame. Risk of balance, again, risk is 1. Let's change this. So whenever you're using a calculated sort of stop loss, we'll use price fraction. And we'll go to average true range. We'll just choose the period of 20. We'll do standard period of 20. Right click. Did I not update that? I swear I did. Why did I? This is not updating. This is playing games with me today.
Could also build in multiple entry types, right, and just use the different gates to get there, as opposed to having to come back. Yeah,
you could build one massive project to test everything all in one test, but the amount of processing power you're going to use and storage you're going to need is crazy.
Yeah.
update. Right, come on. I know why. Is it because this is too big? I need to zoom out, that's why.
Matt Key said, I need to get doing this. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's quite a few people who, since we've been doing these live sessions, has kind of jumped in 2 feet deep. It's something that's completely different to what most people have done before. And I guess it's kind of like an entry into algo trading, I would say. Like, whilst I'm trying to word it without the actual developers wanting to torch me, but it's kind of a way for you to get your ideas for an algorithm into the market as fast as possible. You know, I don't know. I'm just I'm just rambling again. I guess it's yeah. I'm gonna stop.
I think it's a good software to get pen to paper and then paper to ideas without having to essentially be lazy and know how to code yourself.
Yeah, it removes the bottleneck, I think, for non-developers to build multi-strat portfolios is the best way to describe it.
Exactly. What actually?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to be fair, when I first learned how to use FX Streamer, Blayn and I jumped on for a session for like an hour, and then obviously I picked his brain moving forward for a period of time, and still do, to be fair, to this day. But the quality of like tutorials for Dreamer is very, very low. I think it helps having people around you who are also learning at the same time, which is why these sessions are great, right? Because there's a lot of people now learning this. And there's quite a few traders within Darwinex itself, Blayn and I being 2 of them, you know, who use this on a daily basis and just constantly build strategy ideas and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I appreciate you saying that we don't make rubbish videos.
Yeah, appreciate that too, because I do make quite a few mistakes on the streams as well.
Yeah, but we just keep these streams chilled, right?
Like, yeah. I mean, here is the thing though. Like, you know, sounds quite bad. Like, if I put my head down and I just like think about it, I don't have to multitask, and I'll probably get things right. Where having to do this was, I can't multitask at all, and I think everyone clearly see that. but I'm trying to share as much as I can from what I do know. Like, this was a bit more of an advanced sort of session, but I felt like it was necessary because we have been doing a lot of like basic builds, and I think this is a good one for some people that went past the sort of basic build sort of stage and like, okay, how can we build like a full blown out sort of strategy that we can then do bigger optimization rather than just entry models. We can then look at filters, and then it really does put the whole package together. Maybe this strategy is maybe not the best example today, but this is like a real example that we've just pulled from the internet and built live on the session, which is the whole point about it, is to show you that, you know, me and Kieran don't have any secret sort of we don't have secret access to strategies that some people might think. We can pull the exact same information that you guys can from online, and it's just to show you that you can build them too, essentially. I think that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't.
Speak for yourself, Blayn. I'll watch your MetaTrader account.
You must be pretty far at the moment, so.
No, I'm down.
But yeah, I think we'll call it a day at that, to be honest, because it's been a lot to take in. What I will do is I'll share again in the strategy development section. I'll share the MQ5 file as well as the EX5 file in there. You guys can have this strategy, play about with it as you wish, customizing it as you wish. And yeah, let me see what sort of results you get in the strategy development sort of section from the strategy. Let's see if you get it to work on any other sort of instruments. If you change any of these sort of like filters, you know, you can just delete, add, subtract. anything to this sort of strategy. So it'd be really cool to see everyone's sort of input in this. And you know, if next week we can then get some sort of great result, maybe this one goes in the charity Darwin as well. We'll just have to see.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really important as well, is like take this file, but don't just take it as is. Have a play around with it, change some things, because there's virtually zero benefit of you just taking this strategy and running with it, because if somebody else built it, you're not learning. So try different things, play around with it, as Blayn says, and you know, see what sort of results you get. Back test it, try to like break it, do some more robustness testing, test it in sample, out sample, all of that sort of stuff. And then next week we'll be joined by Martin from Trade Like a Machine, Martin Tinsley, as most of you guys know, where we will be doing some proper optimizations of the strategy and really trying to, you know, break it down. So I think that session is going to be fantastic. But Blayn, as always, a massive thank you for coming on, putting some time into, you know, putting this strategy together. And I'm excited to see what we get next week. I think it's going to be a good one. So guys, thank you all for watching. Appreciate every single one of you, especially you guys who you know, put comments in and, you know, give me and Blayn something to talk about every single week. We massively appreciate every single one of you. As Blayn mentioned, he's going to put the strategy files into the strategy development channel in the Darwinex 0 Discord server. Perfect way to end the session. Tough times never last, only tough people last. Absolutely. Always remember that. Get it tattooed on your head when you're in drawdown or something. And then, we will be back. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time to do a market overview session. We may do some more strategy development stuff then. But then, of course, the big session is next week. Same time, 4 p.m. UK time with Martin Tinsley and Darwinex. So, guys, have a fantastic rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're watching this from in the world. And we will catch you in the next session. Peace out, guys.
Cheers, man.